Good morning, sunshine, and welcome back to another episode of Shine Buzz Daily, where it's all about raising your vibration, taking inspired action, and moving forward to create the life that you want after a toxic relationship. Today, I'm going to share with you something, I don't know, it's kind of an inspirational story, to be honest with you, and I think you're really going to like it. So stick with me as we do this. Now, just for those of you who are new around here, we start this session off with about 15 or 20 minutes of content, sometimes a little less. Then we read the cards and then we jump into the chat. So stick around if you have questions, comments, concerns, or things you want to talk about. And let's get going. Good morning, Peggy. How are you? All right, we're busting into it. It's going to be a good one today, I hope. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. So let us do it. All right, so we're going to talk today about the singer, actress Demi Lovato, who recently overcame some toxic relationship issues and found the love of her life. You're gonna like it. So let's just do it. If you have ever found yourself, and I know a lot of you have found yourself in a toxic relationship, you know very well how alone you feel and how when the going gets tough, you look around and most of the people that used to support you aren't there, or you're just alone for other reasons. Narcissists and toxic people tend to isolate us in relationships. And as we've discussed many times, when someone is struggling with active addiction or alcoholism, during the active addiction part, they tend to behave just like a narcissist, even if they're not otherwise a narcissist, right? So today I'm going to share a story with you that proves that not only are you not alone, but that toxic relationships can literally affect anyone at all, even the rich and famous, the young and beautiful, all the people, right? So I hope that you're going to find a little bit of inspiration in this story, as well as a new level of understanding in your own situation. And maybe, I don't know, maybe even a new theme song. So let's catch a shine buzz. So 27-year-old Demi Lovato is a singer, songwriter, actress, and television personality. You might remember that she started her career back in 2002 when she appeared on the children's television series Barney and Friends. Anybody? But then she rose to prominence for portraying Michi Torres in the Disney Channel musical film called Camp Rock in 2008, and then its sequel, Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam, in 2010. Her parents divorced when she was only 2 years old, and her father, Patrick Lovato, who unfortunately died of cancer in 2013, was an alcoholic and drug addict. And her mother, Diana, had said that she's quoted, and I'm gonna read the quote to you. She says, "I thought I could change him, and I think victims of domestic abuse often feel the same way. You're not always going to be able to change someone no matter how much you want to. There may come a point where your love for that person may not be enough to keep you safe." She said this in a recent biography that she released. So at that time, Diana left her husband, Patrick, took her daughters, Demi and Dallas, and went to a women's shelter. Now, we all know how hard that is and how difficult that choice must have been for her, right? Well, this is interesting because it's kind of a two-generational story of abuse and recovery. Bear with me. Later, Demi would say that her abusive father influenced her first foray into drugs. She was only 17 years old. She was still working with the Disney Channel at the time. And just 2 years ago, when she was 18, she ended up in the hospital with an overdose. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But in a YouTube documentary a couple years ago, I think 3 years ago, it was called Simply Complicated. Demi said, "I felt out of control the first time I tried drugs." And she said I'm going to quote her here, "I guess I always searched for what he found," meaning her father, "in drugs and alcohol because it fulfilled him, and he chose that over a family." She added that his mental illness made him incapable of even being with or taking care of his family. And I think a lot of us are going to be able to relate to this next part. She said, "I was very conflicted when he passed because he was abusive." And she added, "He was mean, but he wanted to be a good person." And later she said that he wanted to have his family, but when her mom married her stepdad, her father still had this huge heart, where he said, "I'm so glad that he, the stepfather, is taking care of you and doing the job I wish I could do." Now, I'm not going to speak ill of the dead, but if I'm being honest, that seems a little familiar to me, right? Anyway, Demi has said that she has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. This is very public information. I'm not telling you anything she hasn't already told the world. And like her mother, has struggled with eating disorders. But again, she's been very open about this, and I think that's powerful in some really good ways, because when you have someone like her standing up and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm dealing with," we feel less alone, right? Well, her mother revealed her own issues with the eating disorders as well as Xanax addiction in her recent book. And we also know that a lot of times when you have someone in a toxic relationship, they will turn to things like drugs, alcohol, even eating disorders to sort of, find, comfort, to numb out, to feel like they're in control of something, the eating disorder part. According to Demi's manager in that film that we talked about, the YouTube film, he said, his name was Phil McIntyre, he said Demi was living two lives. And he said, once the camera stopped rolling, she's living another life. She couldn't really be herself. She wasn't a normal teenager. She couldn't be one. So this would eventually lead to her tipping point where she did go to rehab at the age of 18 in November 2010 after a public outburst, which apparently included her punching a backup dancer in the face. And I read that she said something about, all I was thinking was, I'm going to beat this up. And I felt like that was something that maybe wasn't her usual style. Anyway, this was in South America while she was on tour with the Jonas Brothers, and about 6 months after her relationship with one of them ended. Joe Jonas and Demi Lovato apparently dated. So in January 2018, she was on Good Morning America. And then she said some really awesome stuff. She said, I make it my life goal to inspire other people. I think it's important for me to use my voice for more than just singing. I just know how important it is to use my platform to help others and to share my story in hopes that it inspires people to either get into recovery or better themselves. Whatever it is, I just want people to know they're not alone and I'm here for them. I mean, I think that's just a really sweet, and I don't know, I feel like she's a giant empath, right? But then, unfortunately, that same year, after going so far as to even provide free therapy sessions for her fans who attended her concerts when she toured with DJ Khaled, she would famously overdose on drugs, and she risked her life. I was mistaken at the beginning when I said she was 18 when she did the overdose. I'm sorry about that. But since then, she survived, thankfully, and she's been recovering. In August of 2018, her team announced they would help her clear a few toxic relationships from her life, which included, I think, a relative and a close friend and someone else. And she's reportedly been actively recovering since then. Now, I saw her on Ellen. I'll tell you that in a minute. Okay. Now, this gorgeous young woman has come forward with a whole new attitude and a story of triumph, and she's found a whole new love. And if I'm being honest with you, I think she's really standing in a place of inspiration for all of us, anyone who has struggled with a toxic relationship in their life. So Thursday night, which was, last night / this morning at midnight, she released her new song, her first official single since 2018, and it is called I Love Me, right? I love it. In this new video, which I watched this morning, we see her sort of fighting with multiple versions of herself, like physically, which obviously is symbolic. And later, as the song goes on, she's walking down the street, she's singing about the various myriad of insecurities that holds all of us, the insecurities that hold all of us down as we're trying to live a life and be happy and so on and so forth. And then she sings of her newfound love, self-love, which I just love. We see this beautiful confidence coming out of her, and she looks gorgeous. She sounds great. She says, I'm gonna read you a couple of the lyrics so you'll see why I'm so excited about this. She says, because I'm a black belt when I'm beating up on myself, but I'm an expert at giving love to somebody else. I, me, myself, and I don't see eye to eye. Oh, why do I compare myself to everyone? And I always got my finger on the self-destruct. I wonder when I love me is enough. Right? Woo, that's a little... Anyway, I happened to catch her on Ellen yesterday. Well, actually, it was on YouTube, so it may have been a couple days ago that it was recorded, but I just saw it yesterday, where she talked about the single and the road to recovery. And I thought, that's powerful. And she said so many things I could relate to as a survivor, and I think that you could relate to as well. I'm sure you can see that clip still here on YouTube. And in fact, what I'll do after the video goes live is I'll put it in the description or in the pinned comment. But she talked about her new self-care routines that are actually helping her as she's recovering from that relapse as well as her eating disorder. And near the end of the interview, this is maybe the best part, she turned to the audience and she said, "We are good by ourselves. We don't need a partner and we don't need substances. We're good." I loved it. I feel like this story offers a special kind of inspiration for survivors like us. And like I mentioned, I feel like her new song might just be the theme song a lot of us really need right now, right? I want to know what you think. That's the question of the day. What do you think about Demi Lovato, her new song, her recovery story, or how can you relate to it? So share your thoughts, ideas, experiences in the comments section or the chat if you're with me live right now. And let me know what you think about this. And now, my friends, it is time to read the cards. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? All right. Thank you, my three loves. All right, we are going to first read the card from our Dialectical Behavior Therapy Skills deck. And today we are on number 41. Now you can buy these if you want to. I will put the link in the description after this session, but you don't need to because I'm sharing all of them with you. And like I said, we're on number 41. So this is an interpersonal effectiveness skill, our second one. And it reads, get ready, this is your homework, grab your pen or your pencil and your paper, write this down. Pay mindful attention to others. Today, focus on the people to whom you're speaking. Notice what they're saying with their words and what their body language is telling you. If you find anything confusing, ask for clarification. For example, how are you feeling? Are we okay? Or, I notice you seem nervous. Is that accurate? Don't do this with a narcissist, but everybody else. All right. And next up, we are going to read our daily affirmation for today from the Gabrielle Bernstein Super Attractor deck. Again, you can purchase this. I'll have it in the description below, but it's not necessary because I'm sharing all of them with you. And today's card, it's a pretty one, and it reads, my greatest spiritual gifts don't come through force, they come through freedom. That's a good one, right? My greatest spiritual gifts don't come through force, they come through freedom. All right. Hello, everybody. All right. Hello, hello. Okay, we are going to jump into the chat. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, things you want to talk about, hit me up in the chat right now, and I will be answering your questions, and we'll go forward from here. So what do you think about the Demi Lovato thing? Can you relate to it? Share your thoughts, ideas, everything. All right. Good morning to Peggy. Good morning to my three loves. Changing my life. Nubia, welcome back. Kathy Williams, hello, hello. What's for tea? Martha Ross. Bonnie, representing the Mod Squad. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Eater, welcome. Hello from Cyprus. My pleasure. Thank you for being here, Eater. Idor? I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Hello, Violet. Welcome back. Heather Smith says, hi, Angie. I love your channel. Thank you, Miss Heather. Bama Sweet says, true. Yes, they do. UNA, good morning. Bama Sweet. Let's see. Joy. Hello, Joy. My three loves says, the emotion in your voice and this message. Love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Miss Fantastic is going to watch it after this. Yeah, it's really, Miss Fantastic, it's a good video. I really liked it. And yeah, Crystal says, powerful lyrics, indeed. Yeah. Changing My Life says, I don't even know who that is, but it's an inspiring story. Right, I know. I barely know who it is. I'm 44. She's way younger than me. But I found it to be, you know, I've seen her around. I'd never heard her sing until that's how terrible this is. I'd never heard her sing until I saw this video. I think I mean, I've been aware of her for a while, but I think the first time I actually even maybe heard her speak was on a recent episode of Will and Grace. And anyway, I'm not a big, huge fan. Not that I'm not a fan, but I just didn't know her very much before. But then when I saw her on this Ellen show, which just happened, like sometimes I turn on YouTube and I just let it run while I'm working, and I happened to catch this clip and I thought, wow, and then so this morning when I saw the video show up in my feed, I took a look at it and I thought, this is it, I have to share this because it's really a positive, powerful song, and the lyrics, as I read them to you, they're pretty amazing. So I can totally get it. Nikki says, hi everyone. Hey Nikki, welcome back. Hello Katrina, welcome back. Nargis, hello my friend. She says, on my short break, then back to work. Oh, okay, I understand, honey. She said, wait a minute. She said, thanks for all you do. You're the reason I keep going. Big hugs to you, my friend. UNA said, that was powerful. It stunned me into silence, right? Lotus, hello. Terry, hello. Nubia says, I love that when she got help, she helped others. Me too. That was part of the reason I brought the story to you, because I thought, I had no idea. She did those free therapy sessions after those concerts or whatever, and now she's trying to help others even more. And by putting out this song, she's really raising awareness. Everything that she's doing, I mean, to be that transparent and vulnerable alone is very brave, in my opinion, to share that kind of private, personal stuff. And she's not doing it for fame. I really don't think so. I think she's doing it really to try to help. She's already famous. She doesn't have to tell anybody this stuff. But she's reaching out in such a powerful way to, she's going to make so many more people aware of what toxic relationships can do to us. Because I really think her reason for having been on drugs in the first place was, and I mean, she even has said it's because of her father and all of that, but it's a powerful statement on the fact that there's no, it could happen to anyone. It could happen to someone who lives in a tent and someone who lives in a mansion and everybody in between. You know what I mean? There's no cultural divide here. There's no financial divide. There's no racial divide. It could happen to any of us all the way across the spectrum, and it does. And so for someone like her to come out and say, listen, this is it. This is what I'm dealing with. I hope it just makes you feel a little bit less alone, and I want people to think about, when someone comes out with their story, like I come out, I've talked about my story, but I'm sorry, my earring's bothering me. I have talked about my story multiple times, but I'm not some famous, like person who's been famous since she's born and, or since she's a little kid, whatever. I guess my point is, the name of the song, Sue, is I Love Me. It's really, really good. Bama Sweet says, being a member of the entertainer arena has pressures of its own, but to carry that weight plus being in a toxic relationship is a pure struggle for survival. Demi has my prayers. Right? Yeah. And you know what? The sad part is we don't know for sure that this is the end of her struggle. And that hurts me a little bit for her. But I hope that by, displaying this strength that she has displayed, I hope she finds, inspiration even in herself as she, maybe goes back and looks at that video, or, I think coming out publicly with struggles like that puts you in a very vulnerable position. But by doing that, she's going to help so many other people become aware. How many teenagers are in toxic relationships right now and don't even know it? You know what I mean? I think she might really create some positive change in the world by coming out this way. And I love that. What's for tea? Oh, Gazelle says freedom. Love that, right? From the affirmation. What's for tea says, my sister texted me a clip from her Grammy performance. Anyone? She and her husband were both crying. I have to admit it touched me too. Not into Demi Lovato, but certain things are just powerful. Same. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not necessarily into her, but I certainly get it. Yeah, Martha, exactly. You don't share that for fame, right? She's not doing it for that reason. She's doing it because she's trying to help. it's hard to share your story that way. And so with her reaching out and trying to help like that, I find it very powerful and inspirational. Zool, hello, welcome back. Martha says the title alone is great, right? Right? I know. I know. Uncle Meow Meow, welcome back. I love your name. Says, I hope more awareness helps wake those stuck or coping within the aftermath of being connected to a narcissist, that they do not need to stay. There is help and support. Yes. Yes. That is what I'm talking about. That's it. Because truly, and I know a lot of people here, I don't know if everybody here, but a lot of people in the Spanily, several of my followers, people I've talked to for coaching even, I've seen people go to shelters like her mother did. But that's a really hard choice to make, And so to look at her coming from that and, thankfully she made it, she got through it, and she didn't, she made it, she survived her overdose and everything else. But my gosh, imagine the amount of turmoil this girl must be dealing with every day. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Obama says it took a lot of courage for Demi. But talking and music is therapy. Bravo. Yes. And Ms. Fantastic agrees. Music is great therapy. Richard Dobbins, welcome back, my friend. And Bridget Bracken, welcome. She says, thank you for talking about her. I have bipolar as well, and it's nice to see some positivity with those in recovery instead of us being depicted as monsters like most people do. I'll tell you what, Bridget, I did some research a while back. My nose, I did some research I think I have a tickle. I'm sorry. I did some research a while back where I looked into, because somebody asked me, what's the difference between bipolar and narcissism, because apparently some of the symptoms will overlap. But the thing is, narcissists don't have empathy. And if we know anyone with bipolar, we know that they're often racked with empathy. Sometimes they have so much empathy that they're just in pain outside of their control even, so I would never say that someone with bipolar is a monster. Never. Sue says, have a great day, everyone. Gotta go now. Okay, Sue, thank you. Happy Shine Day, peeps, says Jillian. Welcome back, my friend. Happy to have you back. Bama says, pure liberation, freedom by helping Demi get a little more freer every day, right? Yes. Rapunzel says, I totally get how toxic my father is. I didn't totally get how toxic my father is until I was 51. I just knew there were certain things he did that I didn't like. I am now understanding they are the root of my anxiety and depression. And sadly, I think that's more common than we care to admit. I think that so many people, find themselves in that place where they're like, we think something's wrong with us, and we think something is, causing us additional pain, additional struggle, and we don't realize that it's really coming from that core wound, which very often is caused by a toxic parent. Constant invalidation in childhood, constant control, constant, lack of ability to sort of grow forward. And, so I get that. Yeah. Giselle says our stories need to be told. Right. Exactly. They do. And I think that's the thing that she's doing here. She's telling her story, but she's also, by telling her story, she's putting, she's putting it on the forefront. Like, hey, everybody, here's this famous woman, young woman, who has had to come forward and say, this happened to me. I struggled with this. I'm human just like the rest of you. And hey, by the way, you're not alone here, Jillian says that's huge. Recognizing situations that have occurred in childhood and how they have affected us is the very foundation of recovery and being able to thrive. Congratulations. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Jillian. Martha says to Rapunzel, it took me until 59 to finally go no contact, 1 year today. Happy anniversary, baby. How you doing? That's great, Martha. I'm great. Glad to hear it. Jillian agrees. That is amazing. Yeah. So I just wanted to share this story with you guys today. I wanted you to understand that, as if, we're not alone out there. It's not just us. It's everyone. It affects everyone in different ways. Not every single person, but people from every single walk of life, including the rich and famous. So yeah, old behavior. Exactly. All right. Well, I am seeing not a whole bunch going on in the chat right now. So if you guys are finished for today, I will wrap up and we will talk again tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for watching this and chatting with me about it. And I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. I'll see you soon.